hospital in Kampar will be beneficial for us as a site for us to perform clinical research, which will benefit many of Malaysians, as it will be a place where we'll be able to provide treatment, new novel treatment for our people, and as well as to develop further research in the field of clinical medicine.
The Utah Hospital could provide potential research collaboration opportunities and also contribute to the cancer research arena in Malaysia.
Hopefully, very soon, with the establishment of Utah Hospital, we will be able to provide quality and affordable medical care to the people in Kampar, as well as a platform for education and research use for Utah's students.
I look forward to exploring potential research collaboration with Utah Hospital.
I wish all the best to Utah in order to see through the development of the hospitals, and I'm looking very forward to the opening of the hospital in the very near future.
Sex.
Did you say that? You are a monk, remember? I've sometimes said to him, the cameras are on us.
Honestly, the energy between them is 8-year-old boy.
You are mischievous.
What is the purpose of your visit, sir?
Just enjoy our friendship and talk about joy.
I don't think you could find two people on the planet who are more different than the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. One grew up in absolute poverty, the other grew up in a 1,000-room palace.
Unfortunately, that person is Christian.
Unfortunately, he's a Buddhist.
There's a lot of shared background. Both of them have deep history of struggle against authoritarian systems.
The Tibetan people are being exterminated. Their culture and religion are being stamped out.
Age 24, I lost my own country.
Amid tear gas and police dogs, Desmond Tutu led a people against apartheid.
When people decide to be free, absolutely nothing is going to stop them from becoming free. You can overcome the most horrendous circumstances and emerge on the other side, not broken. When you say you are pursuing happiness, you are not going to find it.
Happiness isn't just something that feels good. Happier people, they're physically healthier, they have stronger immune systems, they even live longer.
Ultimate source of happy life, inside, not outside. We really become something quite special.
Yes.
I think at time of my death, I will remember you.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. Good evening. On behalf of our organizing committee, I welcome all of you to the Resilience and Wellbeing Summit 2022. Our event will start at 8 p.m. sharp, which is now, yeah? So my name is Kai, and I will be your MC for the day. So while waiting for your event to start, allow me to introduce you a little bit about our summit. All right, so in conjunction with University Tunku Abdul Rahman 20th anniversary of its founding in Malaysia, we are hosting a remarkable and impressive summit, which is the Resilience and Wellbeing Summit 2022, together with our co-host partners, Body Counseling Center and Journey Within. Our dedicated partner includes Alliance Eliant, Kaohsiung Medical University Positive Psychology Center, Taiwan Mindfulness Association, Taiwan Association for Caring and Counseling for Loss, Malaysia Xiao En Group Counseling and Support, Lifeline Association Malaysia, Malaysia Mindfulness Association, Tan Siang Mitra Welfare Association Penang, and Inner Journey Academy, Rocco Films, and Sinchu Daily. All right, so the duration of our summit is from 20th of February to 31st of March this year. For the past few weeks, we have been covering various topics under the theme of resilience and well-being. From the resilience, a path to happiness, to wellness strategies, to build resilience, developing awareness and resilient skills to endure hardships, practicing mindfulness and contentment to increase resilience, strengthening the body, mind, and spiritual connection, and to the last theme on hope, self, discovery, and joy. This summit will bring you speakers from around the world, which include mental health specialists, psychiatrists, neuroscientists, psychologists, counselors, and mind training practitioners to provide the insights on mental well-being and strengthening resilience. Due to popular demand, we reopen our registration on Eventbrite to encourage your friends and family to register if they would like to have full access to our jam-packed events. Alternatively, feel free to share with your families and friends about our Facebook Live, where this will benefit them as well. And please like our Facebook page, and for further updates, you can find the link from our chat box. All right, so let me, to all the audience today, we truly appreciate you for joining our talk on Connect with Self through our struggles. So just a little housekeeping rules here before we get started. You are not allowed to perform any recording throughout the session. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. All right, so let me formally begin our event today by introducing our moderator. Our moderator for today's session is Dr. Ling Hao Ki. She is a retired associate professor in social work and social policy under social work program of the Faculty of Social Sciences, University Malaysia Sarawak. She is also the honorary supervisor in Body Counseling Unit Service, Kuching Buddhist Society. And without further ado, let me pass the time to our moderator, Dr. Ling, please.
Hello. Yes, okay. A very good evening to everyone. I'm saying hi here from Kuching, Sarawak to everyone. Okay, so welcome to our session tonight. As our MC just introduced, this is our, I think, 6th week and also the last week of the summit. And the theme is on hope, self-discovery, and joy. Okay, and the topic tonight is connect with self through our struggles. And I think, you know, I'm quite intrigued with this topic actually, connect with self actually through our struggles. And I'm indeed honored to introduce our speaker, Dr. Lai Mi Huan. Okay, Dr. Lai Mi Huan is a visiting psychiatrist at Timberland Medical Center, Kuching, Sarawak here. She obtained her professional qualification as a medical doctor and as a psychiatrist from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And until last year, she has been the senior lecturer in the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences at University Malaysia Sarawak, a post she held for around 10 years or so. And also during these 10 years, she has accumulated a wealth of experience working with people from different walks of life through her clinical practice at the Sarawak General Hospital, Kuching here. Now, Dr. Lai, I would say she is no ordinary psychiatrist, because I have 10 years of association with Dr. Lai as a former colleague at the same university, but also through our professional contact through Budi Counseling Service Center, as well as in other NGO setting where we seek her out for consultation and her expert advice on some of our very difficult clients, heavy cases where it involve mental health issues. And I would say she is really passionate and also very generous in giving her insight and her experience. So as you can see on the screen there, and she told me that she identified herself more as a psychotherapist than a psychiatrist, because she's really passionate about building a healthy community by contributing her knowledge, experience, and skills in mental health, especially in the area of prevention of mental health problems, and also advocating for wellness and resilience in the service of creating a fruitful and meaningful life. And so we have actually over the years benefited a lot from her. And also recently she conducted a workshop with her other colleagues on ACT, and that is acceptance commitment therapy. But tonight she's going to talk about IFS, and that is internal family system. And using this internal family system, we hope we can gain a lot of understanding about how it can help us reconnect with self, in order to integrate with different parts of our internal system and retuning the impact of trauma in order to have a better life. So before I pass over to Dr. Lai, actually she shared with me, she told me that she would really welcome our audience to be very interactive. So I think, her slides and her talk will be very interactive, inviting our audience to give your questions and also your comments through the chat as well as the Q&A later on. So okay, let's welcome Dr. Lai Mi Huan to connect with self through our struggles. Okay, over to you, Dr. Lai.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ling, for that introductions. Yeah, I'm always kind of like a loud outlier kind of thing. I love doing things that meaningful, helpful. So sometimes, kind of venture into different way of helping my patients or my clients. In fact, I really want to dedicate today sharing to a lot of patients or clients that came to see me, that give me that trust. And how I found this internal family system actually is through end user experience. It's not from my medical training. It is along that journey, when people come to see me, some of them really facing a lot of struggling you know, especially with a lot of trauma at the background, especially childhood trauma. So then I have this chance to join a Facebook group, and they are all like, you know, dealing with trauma in certain way, and they kind of like talking about this internal family system. That's how I come to know about this approach. And then slowly I also came into my own journey and understanding my own trauma. Then it kind of like is everyone issues and things, you know, and how I has helped me as a person here, how I was kind of like a lifestyle practice. Then I use it with my clients or patients, and it's really fantastic. It's very wonderful. That's why I really want to share with you all about this internal family system. I feel very honored, and yes, let's co-create this event. You know, your participation is going, you know, like make a big difference here. I love questions, because when you ask questions, you are helping me. You help me to clarify things, you know, like sometimes when I deliver things, I just, from my point of view. So when you give feedback, you ask questions, that's really, really helpful. So let's, I think COVID is kind of like a very special period, right? This when we deal with this pandemic, because before that, all of us are, so probably most of us are live in a very busy, fast pace of life. So COVID, like as a threat here to our physical health, that it also as a threat to our mental health. It kind of invite us to kind of take this big long pause, and probably this is also a chance for us to reset, because during this pause, probably the struggles that before COVID is not so obvious, but when we doing this pause, some struggle, it become more obvious, become more prominent in our life. And that also kind of giving us a chance to understand about mental health more. Probably after COVID, with this isolation, with virus around us, so mental health kind of stand out more. So let's put in the chat box or in your Facebook Live, what is or are your struggle lately? Let's pick 1 to 3 struggles. So let's go to the chat box and put down kind of like number, you know, like 1 to 10 here. Let's say your struggle is not mentioned here. Yes, you can also kind of type it down. All right, thanks, Sui. 4 to 6, right? Yeah, either it's career, health, body image. Living in this era, right? Body image is really a big issue, because we have this gazette in our hands that kind of like comparing us to everybody in this world. Wow, that's a big struggle. Yeah. So yeah, relationship always stand out. Relationship is something very core to us as a human being. So it can be a big struggle. So yeah, thanks for putting on the checks, and hopefully that can also kind of work you through, you know, like this pause, this reset, it is kind of an invitation to come, you know, get to know ourselves a little bit more. Okay. Yep. Relationship, family member, parents, yes, sometimes always all this external struggle would very easily trigger our internal struggle. So that's not uncommon, right? With the external struggle, it's become like a trigger to our internal struggle. So I wonder, right, how do you cope? Difficult can be quite challenging, and I put here 7 ways, very common way people try to cope with struggle. So let's also put in the chat box, choose also 1 to 3 coping mechanism that you tend to use. yeah, we kind of live in a culture like people always say, overcome it, face it, fight with your struggle, you know. So that's a common strategy. Or sometimes it's just too much, you know. So avoiding is a best way, right? Escape, you know, distractions. We are pretty common, right? Like, yeah, sometimes when just too much, I on my gazette, right? YouTube is one of the favorite way, or doing something more cognitive, you know, more technical. It kind of help me to kind of like not with my emotions, right? That one of the very common way we cope. Or some may you know, make it minimizing, trivializing, make it like, you know, make fun, you know, no big deal, you know, small matter. Or blame and judge, because whenever the struggle is just too much, sometimes blame is a quickest way to get that very temporarily relief, right? Number 5 is a very common way also, like analyzing, rationalizing, and or worrying, you know, like sometimes it kind of stick in our mind, and we become very fixated on our struggle. Or if all those fail, sometimes when we can become very numb, or we call dissociative, right? We have this dissociative episodes, like you are like experience like I'm not in my body. When you kind of think back, did I say that? Did I do that? You know, like people say, oh, just now you said that. Am I? You know, so that those kind of experience, like sometimes in a very heated argument, like with my husband, then he said, oh, you said that. Did I? You know, so very short while of like dissociations can happen. Okay. Yeah, it can be none of the above. Lini can also put down your coping. Yeah, those are common, very common way. So I can see 5 is kind of like stand out. Yeah, in our culture, right? Like just make everything so rational. Yeah. So yeah, it can very easy. With modern life, living in this modern world, lots of external demands, expectations, and can easily trigger this internal struggle. And a lot of people kind of saying the external struggle a little bit easier to deal with, doing some problem solving, prioritizing, time management. But when it comes to internal struggle, that can cause a toll on us. In fact, when it becomes too much, you know, then it becomes a big stress to our system or our body, then it can also lead to a lot of physical issues. Like very common, people come to see me because they went to see physician first for abdominal discomfort, but many visit to physician cannot get well, then later realize, yeah, lots of stress, lots of struggles in life. Skin issues is another very common one. Muscle tense up, headache, again, is a very, very common. And panic attack, you know, so another very common, like you can see like how the lung work very hard to cope with life. They always tell me like they are living like this underwater kind of experience. And yeah, and hypertension is another very common one. Even the name itself tell you, right, with lots of tensions or hypertension. So some people, when they come to deal with their internal struggle, their hypertension get improved. So sometimes they need to adjust their hypertensive medication, otherwise they will get low blood pressure. So I do have people that, yeah, it really improves their physical health. So there is this slogan, right? No health without mental health. In fact, since young, probably we have a little bit more idea how to take care of our physical health. But how about our mental health? And they are correlated. And in fact, we are not living in a vacuum. Your environment affects you. Probably Dr. Ling, you know, as a social worker, can tell you lots of examples how the environment kind of affect us as a person, and also we have this spiritual aspect. So they are all interrelated. So tonight I'm going to use this approach called internal family system. The founder is Rich Schwartz, a family therapist that kind of found this approach that it used a lot in psychotherapy. It is a newer trend of psychotherapy, and it become more and more popular. In fact, in US, because of its effectiveness in helping people that struggle with mental health issues, this get covered by insurance. It found to be a shortest, it needs shortest durations to help people get healing, especially from people that struggle with trauma. Yeah. And also getting more popular in coaching. So a lot of coaches start using it. In Malaysia, we still a little bit behind, but we are catching up. We are catching up. So I believe after this, or we get more people that get interested and coming to do this work here. It's quite life-changing doing this work here. So let's start with in iOS there is this one of the approach we talk about self. So what is self, right? Self is, if you remember, or if you're looking at baby, right? So you see, all baby, when we are born as a baby, we are very confident. We won't, when we are in hunger, we will cry, we will express our need without shame. We will never think of, am I a burden to my mommy? Should I cry? Should I not cry? You won't. You are so confident, right? And when you see baby, that they can be so carefree, that calmness of baby that having, they weren't worried about risk, they weren't worried about am I lovable? Should I do that? Should I say that? So no, that's not baby, right? And kids or baby can get very creative when they give them something. They can come up with lots of creativity in the things they do, very curious. So you can look at kids when before they're going to school, that they have lots of questions. They are so interested in the world. They are so interested in their body, so you're seeing baby how they move their body, and sometimes they can full of wisdom, that clarity, so that's when we are born. We are so courageous, especially you see young kids when they are in swimming pool, they will just jump, instead of kind of thinking about what would happen if I jump. So that's self. All of us have that, all of us are born with this essence or quality that's in us. And when we live in this world, when we growing up, getting older, many things can happen. Yes, happy things happen, but at the same time, awful things also happen. So going to school, so many homeworks, failure, being compared, we start getting idea that something wrong with me, like you are too stupid, you are too smart, like as if there is something wrong with us. So that shame is just so pervasive, and in fact, shame is something very non-human, but it becomes so normalizing in our culture, in our modern world, because when you start shaming kids, that's one of the faster way to have behavioral control, right? Because it's just too much to handle. So shame is a very powerful tool. Shaming is a very powerful tool, to control kids' behavior, and it's been passed down generation by generations. And also, getting beaten up because of when we are kids, we are we are so innocent, we are still exploring the world, we need so much guidance, but because of our adult being treated in this way, shaming way, right? So that's how we being brought up a lot of time. Parents argument, bully, losing a loved one when you live old enough. Yeah, that's something really heartbreaking going to happen. And all these awful things going to threaten our heart, make the world not such a secure or safe place to live with. So it kind of really leave an impact in us. So what kind of impacts that it leave in us? So one of the very obvious one would be this certain kind of extreme belief or emotions, sadness, fear, shame, guilt. So you can kind of sense that every one of us have this soft spot, this vulnerable spot that holding this distress. Just like a kids, when they are holding distress, difficult emotions, they have no strategy. They look very helpless. So every one of us, there is a part like that, having extreme belief like I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I don't deserve to be happy, to have friends, So this kind of belief, and in IRFS, this part of us that there is a name for it. It's called exile. Why it called exile? Because this is the part that we want to keep away. Nobody like this. Nobody like this. So it meant to be locked up, because otherwise it is so threatening to have this. And probably you will ask why, right? Why kids tends to believe or take up all these words here, this very extreme belief, because this is related to our survival terror, because a kid needs an adult to survive. So whenever bad thing, awful things that happen, kids will take it on them. Unless there is this adult that will come and be that compassionate adult. Otherwise, they're going to hold this, and all this become a burden in us. So because you see, if a kid's living in awful situations, for whatever reason, that adult cannot be there for these kids. So the kids would rather prefer to take up this belief, right? It's me, it is my problem, it's my issue. Because otherwise, if kids start to think it's an adult issue, you may leave home, right? You may run away. And how can a 5 years old, 4 years old kid survive if you run away from home? Or kids start argue with adult, and it may potentially bring more harm, right? More threat, because kid is in that vulnerable state. So that's exile. Exile will keep all these things. Then how about other part of us? So other part of us will make sure all this, all this part that holding all this distress being locked up. So if more awful things happen in life, then the more exiles that one person that going to have. And in order to survive, then the other part need to take up a protector's role to make sure the exile wouldn't get triggered, or if it get triggered, need to quickly kind of lock it up. Otherwise, ourselves or our system or this person can, as a human, we can get quite overwhelming. So what kind of protectors that we going to have? So basically, there are two types of protector. So the first type would be what we call a proactive protectors. So it's like doing a manager work, to make sure we look good in others people's eyes. We appear nice. Like for example, one of the strategy. So protector always have strategy. Protector usually they can get very anxious. And like develop the skill of people pleasing. I want to say no, but I can't say no. I would say yes to most of the people. So people pleaser, and wanting stability, don't take risks, because take risks can easily trigger exile, right? You can get failure, no change, so better live a static life, low profile. Or it can go to another extreme, work out, work on appearance to look good, achievement, make sure you achieve something so that people, look up to you, so people give way to you, people treat you nicer. So those are strategies that manager apply. But anyhow, living in this world, exile will still get triggered. Our vulnerable part will still get triggered, because this is not a perfect world. So then once it get triggered, so when emotion, those difficult emotion, being arising, or starting wanting to hijacking your system, so then firefighters will come. So literally, firefighter is there to put out fire, right? Put out the flame. So what kind of strategy firefighter use? Two strategy, either to numb the emotion, to reduce the intensity of emotions. So what kind of food is a good way, right? When you eat, so that relief. So when food can't help, then you need to escalate, right? You need to accelerate it to different strategies. So some people use alcohol, cigarette, or even substance drugs to help, right? And most of us use distractions. Social media is a good way to distract yourself. Definitely one of my firefighters activity would be distractions. Procrastination later, because once I want to start doing, difficult things, things that will risk, uncomfortable. So procrastinate, make sure then the manager can take over and say, oh, get a perfect plan, so that's managers want to do, right? Get you a perfect plan. And another one would be workaholic, overwork. And in fact, a lot of people using this strategy, because this strategy tend to not creating a crash with your manager, because your manager want you to look good. So when you overwork, your manager also like it, so you feel a little bit better, like more calmer. So especially man, that's a strategy for man. Whenever they have difficult emotion, overwork is a good outlet, right? To very quick to let emotion come down. And that's my firefighter strategy also. I work with this firefighter. After I come into know about IFS, so yeah, now getting better, really getting better, not so overworked anymore, not because all our protector can become very, very hardworking, like overtime, work overtime. And another firefighter strategy will be becoming angry, so this one is numbing, pulling down the intensity of emotions. Another strategy, if not pulling down, make it higher, right? Make it higher. So exile being triggered, very vulnerable, very weak, helpless, definitely not a nice place to be. So then firefighter angry, it is a lot of people that they rather to be angry than being weak, right? Because angry give you more energy, appear more energetic, appear stronger. So firefighters, right? In fact, firefighter have a like a different layer, different step. Let's say all this fail, right? All this strategy fail. Probably the final firefighter activity, or the most extreme firefighter activity, will be suicide, to end all this pain, to end all this chaos, so suicide is a strategy here. So protector can work very hard. A lot of time that they can be very compulsively, want to keep us safe. Though in the long term, it may it may really backfire because that can become very tired and also creating a lot of collateral damage. So I want to use one video to show you here. This is a cartoon that Disney cartoon that talking about a girl, a little girl. Her name is Lily. And what happened is Lily's fathers need to change his job to another town. So they need to move house. So she lost a friend, she going to a new place. So that can be a place that easily trigger a lot of exiles, right? Causing a lot of difficult emotions here. So this cartoon talking about that experience. So let me, then you will, this cartoon put it in a way how these different parts, and not only Lily parts and her parents' part is shown in this video. So they presented as different kind of emotions.
So, Riley, how was the first day of school?
Fine, I guess.
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong. Signal the husband.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What is it, woman? What?
I'm joy. This is sadness. That's anger.
What?
This is disgust. And that's fear. We're Riley's emotions.
Okay, so the second video is a continuation of Lily interactions with her parents and how their different parts shown up, how the exile being triggered and how the protector. Notice the anger protector, how Lily anger protector trigger her dad anger protector. Then let's see what happened when like two protector is up trying to protect the vulnerable part. Then this is what happened. So let's continue.
So, how was the first day of school?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong. We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
Signal him again.
Ah, so, Riley, how was school?
You gotta be kidding me.
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
School was great, all right?
What was that? I thought you said we were gonna act casual.
Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude, old man.
No, breathe.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
DEFCON 2.
I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops?
Yeah, well, look.
Prepare the foot.
Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire!
That's it. Go to your room.
The foot is down. The foot is down. Woo!
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that was a disaster.
Come, fly with me, Cachinha.
Yeah, so do you notice how the anger protector kind of like playing a role here when when the difficult emotion kind of shown up. Yeah. So and so you can probably see how how protector can easily fight with each other because of their different strategy here. So if you look at how this firefighter trying to help whenever the exile is being triggered, but the firefighter behavior can easily trigger another person firefighter. Then the father going to say something that further trigger the exile, right? So once the exile is out, the firefighter would need to work harder to contain it. Then the manager will come in. So you know this slightly manager, like we need to act casual, telling mom that we are good, we are okay, And in fact, this manager probably going to shame the firefighters' behavior, right? But anyhow, the firefighter wouldn't get that shame because firefighter is there to help with a good intention here. So always the shame will land on this exile. So then that further trigger firefighter, further trigger the manager, the inner critic. So then you can see how this internal conflict can cause a toll in a person. So in fact, that's why not only mental health, but physical health can pay a cost also in that sense. And all these protector that they have good intentions. Yes, their activities is problematic, but the intention is to keep the system kind of surviving in certain way. So what can we do, right? What can we do? So I would say whenever you can sense this kind of struggle, so very likely it is your different parts that probably go into certain fight or polarizing, or certain part is over or dominating, right? It is dominating in your system. So this is an invitation for us to make a U-turn so that we can learn more about our inner world. And the good news is, remember we talked about self just now. Self never get ruined, never get damaged. It's always there. Yes, this certain part may override us, may take over us, but self is always there. So there is a way in IFS to get to the access of self, how to be in that self zone. And I'm sure you have this experience when you go for holiday, like when you're not bothered with lots of work, you are so easy to be in self. So curious, so calm, so confident, so creative in coming out with things, problem solving, so remember that. So IMS is there to help you not only when you are in holiday, but day-to-day life and in crisis. It's like a daily lifestyle practice that we can let self-led, self do the leadership. That will instill lots of peace in the system because self is fair, self is compassionate. So then this different part can have some teamwork, integrations. So how do we do that? Is whatever parts that Shoma, let's say the angry part, just how we talk about angry part that have very dominant angry part. And we really want to get curious and know about that part. But usually when you want to get connect with the angry part, the other part will come out because the inner critic may come out, that don't like this part, or there are fearful part, there are part that's scared of this angry part will come out. So there is a way to invite those parts to soften up, to be at the side, to witness. So then that person can get connections with the angry part in a compassionate way, in an appreciative way. Once they get acknowledgement, get appreciation, usually they kind of soften up. And the other part can also start to see, they start to have this perspective that look like that anger part also, doing quite a tough job here, very energy consuming, So with that understanding, with that compassion, it instills a lot of peace in the system. So in that journey, they get unburdened from their extreme role. The people pleaser may still want to please people is a highly skillful strategy. It's not easy to become a people pleaser, but then that people pleaser now can stay a little bit relaxed, not pleasing everyone, but certain people. Not every time. Sometimes I need to grieve. Sometimes there are things that are happening in my life. So then it can get unburdened from the extreme role. Inner critic, can start to also be more relaxed. And how about the exile, right? How about the exile? Exile, then the burden it hold, can get also being witnessed, being understand. Then that burden can get released. And it also, when the burden is released, it's also released the potential inner resources, because usually exile is our younger part, that they have lots of potential, that they are the part that are having joy, they are the part that creative, they are the part that being very courageous. So lots of inner resources there. So what's that mean, right? It doesn't mean that when we do IVAS, we have no struggle in life. We still have struggle in life. But what happened is you get to know yourself better. You get to relate to your different parts in a compassionate way, in a calm and fair, confidence way. So the self can be there to take the leadership, because with sometimes some people need longer time to get to self. Some people 1-2 session, they can already kind of get into that self zone. So have more integrations in the system, and can deal and can navigate through life challenges, life struggle in a more peaceful and calm way. So yeah, that's my presentations today. So any questions? I can see Ari is raising hands here, is it?
Yeah, I see Eric raised the hand. Would Eric like to actually type the question, or I'm not sure whether we allow people to actually say their question or give the comment and questions through chat, or the system allow us to actually share our thoughts openly. Is that Eric? Yeah. Maybe Eric is still thinking. So yes, I think, well, maybe as a moderator, so maybe I would just like to sum up some points. I think, yeah, actually, I find that really interesting when Dr. Lai, use this analogy of ourselves as managers, firefighters, and exiles. I think that is really like very vivid way of describing ourselves. I can really relate to, especially the part about the we being the firefighters. And I think the video showing the child and the parents is really like something that we can all relate to at different stage of our life, really. And so is about how we can, I guess, recognize that we have these different selves, and being able to come to a stage where we can have the 8 C's, yeah, of self. You know, maybe I can test the audience. What are the, if you can put in the chat box, what are the 8 C? Maybe some of you can, yeah, you can each name some of the C's. I know the first one is calm. The other C's, anyone? Courage, yes. Creative. More? Curiosity. They all have you know, clarity. Very good. Compassion. Confidence. Is that all 8 now? And connectedness is the last 8. Okay. Yeah, connectedness. Right. So yeah. So would you all have any questions for Dr. Lai or any comments about what she has shared? Any, okay, countless. Okay, maybe say 1 or 2.
Yeah, there are some questions, right? There are some questions from audience.
Yes, I think there was one question asking about where do you get all the very good video and material. Maybe you can share that very quickly, but we can also reserve the time maybe for more question and answer related to what you have shared.
Okay. In fact, I get this IFS training from a Canadian IFS organization because I cannot get it in Malaysia. So for me, I joined this 16-week of course. You know, like 4 months, fantastic. So that's how I really get myself to train more in IFS. Then from there onward, you will get material, you know, from the course. Then a lot of YouTube it's available. A lot of podcasts, you know, that talk about IFS by different speakers and by the founder. In fact, the founder is still alive, so it's a very good opportunity, yeah, to listen from the founder also.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means the material is not easily available from YouTube or we can.
It's quite easily available. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That is good information. Okay. We have a question saying, is self also referred to consciousness?
Okay. Yourself, the concept of self, right? Different people kind of talk about it kind of a bit differently, and it sounds quite spiritual also in certain way, because even the founder kind of talk about like later they found a lot of tradition, spiritual tradition, kind of talk about this self, right? And yes, self is we are born to have self. You know, we are born with all those quality, and those quality just being kind of like covered by our parts because living in this imperfect world. So there is many analogy what is self, right? You can view self like a sun also, sun, and the part is cloud, right? So the sun is always there. The sun won't get ruined, sun won't get damaged. In fact, it's more like when the part give way, then the self is there. So you no need to train to be compassion, that only you be compassion. No, you are born with compassion. You are born with creativity. You no need to train yourself to kind of get that. So that's a bit different, that this approach when it talk about, and it's true. From Dick Schwartz, definitely the founder have 40 years experience. He said he never meets someone without self. Even he worked with killer, murderer. They also have self. you know. So in my practice, I start using this, and yeah, some people very quick, you go to self. Some people need a few sessions. Some people need probably 6-7 sessions, then you kind of get to self. And definitely it won't, the Etsy quality won't appear one go. You know, sometimes with 1-2 quality is good enough for self to relate with other part. So do not possess some of this quality. I would say they have the quality, but something happened in their life, so that quality being covered, and for a reason, because for some people to stay in self, it is a big threat. Because when you see, when kids, when they are easier in self, right? But for someone who, especially who went through trauma, sometimes to stay in that self zone, it feels very scary. It feels very scary for other parts. So why other part need to stand up to do the protective role? So when you help the client, or or you get to know your own parts, how you do it, you can, some friends can kind of like, some very certain friends, when in conversation, definitely not a full IFS session, but when you talk to some people, you always get that clarity, like ooh, you thought, wow, things become clearer. Or work with a therapist that train in IFS, so that make it shorter, a little bit easier to kind of like a shorter duration to access to yourself. Different stage of life. And we are not saying the part is no bad parts. We need parts, because one of the different parts and self will be the only agenda self has is to relate with the different parts, and also healing, for healing purpose, so that's self. Then the other part will do other agenda, like you have work to complete, that's an agenda, right? You have you need to play a parenting role, you need to do discipline, you need to guide your kids, those are agenda. And it make a difference if self is there when the parenting part come out, because it's a self-led instead of certain anxious part, or driven by fear, driven by for example, let's say that the parent itself went through hard life, so certain part of the parents become very anxious and make sure the kids wouldn't go through hard life, wouldn't go through the similar path like the parents. And sometimes when that part dominating your parenting role, it might not be a very useful idea, because you cannot be there to connect with your children, because they are different individual than you. They live in a very different world. So learning IFS, then you have a way to when the anxious part pop out, when the good intention, want to protect your kids in certain way, and you can thank that part. You can say thank you, and appreciate that part. Usually once they get the appreciation, they become relaxed and get to know what's their fear, what's that part fear. Oh, kids may go through the same tough time like me, so then what would happen? So I ask that part. Then usually that it will show you actually it's not only protecting the kids, but it's protecting your own exile. You don't want because you see, if my kids go through hard time like me, my exile can easily be triggered. Looking at him, in that tough journey, then my exile will, it kind of remind me of my past awful experiences. So then we get permission. We get permission from the anxious part to connect with the exile. So this is a very different modality, because learning this, it helped me to see my previous modality, the therapy that I did previously. We go to exile kind of too fast, that it kind of causing a lot of backlash because the self is not taking the leadership yet. So when exile being, they feel better when they see you in your session, but when they go back, their protector come out. They get very angry, like they have been there protecting this system for so long, and we just go in, so backlash. So I found some of my clients that doing transition, I need to gain the part trust. I feel so sorry. I take the responsibility because now I know. So that they won't hold the exile won't hold the responsibility. That's what I did. Very human way, very I really love that. This teaching.
Okay, we have the question is asking what does IFS stand for? I think we do know it stands for internal family system, but I think maybe Dr. Lai can still explain a little bit more. IFS.
Oh, okay. It is internal family system. So it starts with as a psychotherapy approach, but then now it also become very popular for coaches, like especially in overseas, they have these coaching services, right? How to realize our internal family. Yes, one of the quicker way is to work with a therapist that get trained in this. And if not, then you look for some friends that they are very curious, they are very compassionate, they are not judgmental. Like sometimes you get that luxury to talk to certain people. After talking to them, you just gain that clarity, like about ding 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 ding. So then you kind of get to know your parts. And probably online there are some material. There are good videos that if you go on YouTube, you search internal family system. There are good videos that are doing demo, doing session. Even
maybe the person who asked the question may be a bit confused like me too, because when you say internal family system, it is like, I guess we think of it referring to a family and not the individual person. So so that's the part that maybe need some clarification here.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Ling. In fact, when we tap into our inner world, it always comes from certain things happen in your life. Like sometimes it's a crisis, sometimes it's a trigger. Then you get very curious, right? Then you notice it's like our inner world look like a family, consists of different family members. Sometimes they argue, sometimes they take side, like certain part. So you get that. You get that sense. So in fact, it talk about like as a human here, we are very sophisticated. Yes, we do not have one personality. You get this. Sometimes I want to do this. Sometimes I don't want to do this. I want to go to this place, but I don't want to go to that place. You can get like as if there are two part of you. In fact, when actually there are two part, is a different part. Then the struggle stop. No wonder. Okay, now it's this part that pop up. For example, like sometimes after argument, usually my part will really get triggered by my husband, and then I trigger his part also. So that is a part of me after argument. I want to connect with him, especially the vulnerable part, want to get care, want to get love. Then there is another more adult part that say no. Getting there is a risk, you may get hurt again. So then last time when I did not learn, then you feel so tense out, right? Because why I become like that? Want this, don't want that. Like you start beat yourself up. Then you should not be like this. You should be a caring wife, understanding wife. Those kind of things. But after I learned about that's different parts. Okay, makes sense now for me, right? Okay, so it's this younger part, and then is this the other more adult part. So if he is not available, he's also being override by his part. So I know definitely it's not safe to go there, because self is there, so self can care for that younger part, can be with that younger part. So yeah, then when his part is kind of clear up slightly, then when I connect with him, I can tell him about my part. So that's so then it get deeper connections in that way, and more peace in our interactions. Help family member. There are another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Right, see whether I can finish. Is that clear, Dr. Ling?
Maybe this question follow quite well. It's talking about whether the self here that you are talking about, is it similar to Buddhist teaching that is looking at your inner self?
Okay, I'm not familiar with Buddhist teaching, so I probably can't really comment well in that sense. And it's really talk about inner world. All of us has this inner world, right? And it's not split personality. You know, some people, are you talking about? No, definitely not. It's a concept that most of us can relate to. Like this different parts, and the self is there.
Okay, we have, I think, quite a few, 1, 2, 3 few questions, and I'm not sure if we can cover all of that. One question asked Dr. Lai to give some advice how to help a family member work out from trauma. I think that is a big question, and then the next one is, how will you explain in your profession on this topic of self-ego scientifically? Yes, and then another question. Thank you. The one on answering the question on IFS. So I maybe I will have to be led by Dr. Lai yourself. Do you feel that because I think this one is a very big question, how to help a family member work out from trauma, and then the other one is self and ego, yes, scientifically, yes.
Sure.
And I think we are aware we are actually 10 minutes after 9 o'clock, but we would leave it to Dr. Lai if you could maybe address the question very briefly, and I don't think we are able to answer all the questions that are posed by the audience, but Dr. Lai, please.
Thanks for and very sorry for extending the time. If you really need to leave, yes, welcome, right? If you can stay, we just spend a few more minutes on this. Okay, family member trauma, that experience trauma, I would say very challenging. Why it is so challenging? Because we will get triggered, when we be with someone that in that journey is a very difficult journey. So I would say how to help them. Probably you can view this more like an invitation also for you to make that U-turn, invitation to make that U-turn whenever you work with them. So what are your parts that can kind of get triggered? So then sometimes it may not be helpful. Let that part kind of like take the lead or dominating your system. For example, like when we seeing their trauma, sometimes our Excel also want to come out, right? Also want to get that validation. So then our other part will kind of make sure, our manager will make sure don't come out, right? How become a savior. So make sure that person is healed. Make sure that person is cured, So then I no need to, So I have that part also. When I'm doing sessions, that part will come out so that part can become quite impatient sometimes, make sure it's healed, make sure it's so I need to ask that part to kind of soften up. Thanks that part for wanting to help, and kind of, I will let that part say no need, because I was really talk about the healing property in that person, the healing essence in that person. So it's not me healing that exile, no, it's the person, so that exile need the person. So initially they may not have a lot of self energy, we call it. So yes, that I would share my self energy, staying curious, trust that person's system, trust his or her system. That's what I will keep coming back to that zone, trusting that person. And if my part, anxious part, scary part pop up, I work with my part. So it's a very interesting way, very creative way working with a person here. Okay, then I come to questions about scientific explanations. Yeah, when we talk about mental health problem issue, there are so many theories, roadmap that trying to help. And how I view IBS is not contradict with what I learned in medical school. For me, some patients, they come to me, they clearly say they want medication. So yeah, how medication work? Definitely medication work with your hormone, right? And how this hormone kind of get affected, it's really a theory. It can be, all this struggle that mess up your hormone here, right? That and like, for example, some people that take substance, right? Take methamphetamine, take ice, definitely it affect your hormone here. So how medication can work? Medication can make, with you play around with the hormones, and your emotion get less intense. So the exile get less intense. But I will always encourage them, when the exile getting less intense, so make it like a strategy, just your manager strategy, then now you can get to know your exile. You can get to know that part, that suffering, because that's a human thing to do. Instead of letting that part. So I always say, when we take medication, it's not to dismiss that part, to dismiss your emotion. So we make it a little bit easier to work with that emotion. Like they can easily get it. A lot of people but some people, they say, no, I don't have the time, I don't want. Not wrong also. There are parts that more dominating that. For a good reason, their father struggling, I just want to, okay, so that I can go to work, I can earn money. Good father, I respect that also. So some, they only choose to on medication, then yeah. So what I check is to make sure, is there part that disagree? Because it's very common when people come to tell me they want medication, some part want it, some part don't want it. So I need to work with the part very like a bit subtly. We talk about like, tell me more, the why no medication, tell me more why yes medication. Then you can instill more peace. So in fact, I find it, if you do this work in that kind of way, very human way, the medication also become more effective somehow or rather. So
okay.
Okay. And also reacting to situation. Definitely, like I said earlier, we are not living in a vacuum. In fact, a lot of our parts, right, why they take up certain thoughts or beliefs, right, is to cope. Like I say, it's safer to think that, like I'm a failure. For some people, it's safer, because if not holding that belief, they can outshine, then they can invite risk if they live in an environment, that very critical, very judgmental. So it is. So for certain part, why they hold certain belief for a reason. And that part can have thoughts, can have emotion, can have, almost like you have these sub-personalities. Yes, a lot of people, I would say, they live their life part-driven, or we say like fear-driven, right? I wouldn't say it's wrong also, just like there are these opportunities so that you can, get to know yourself, then the self-led life instead of part driven life. So it's an invitation, and I find it probably a lot of people when they come to get help for mental health issue, they're just not giving the opportunity to do this. They only probably offer like taking medication because not many people train in this way. So we do hope more people can get trained, and this kind of service is more easily accessible. Yeah. And then definitely when you work with your internal world, then when you relate to your external world, it can feel so different. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we are really thankful. Actually, I would like to thank Dr. Lai for, wanting to extend your time, because we were supposed to have this session as a 1 hour session, but obviously I think you have created a lot of interest in this IFS, and for some of us, myself included, it's really like the first time we hear about the IFS, internal family system, and we get some idea. I think what you have shared about the different selves and how we kind of get more connected with ourselves. I think that is really something very, very simple and yet very thought-provoking. Yeah, it's very deep actually. And I think also the question about the science, and it is very much, I think, befitting the theme of this summit, is like integrating science and spirituality. And that was actually the very first session, when we introduced the summit, is about, using scientific knowledge, but at the same time being in touch with our, spirituality, our inner self and all that. Yeah. And so I think I would like to really show our appreciation to Dr. Lai by, I think people can put chat and, give your comments, your word of thanks to Dr. Lai. And as I said, this is very much an introductory session. Perhaps, we can invite Dr. Lai to have, really this will be a kind of session that need a workshop, yeah, for us to get to understand IFS more. And so I think with that, I would like to draw the session to a close and hand it over to our MC. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Lai and Dr. Ling, for the very informative and enlightening session. I've also learned a lot from this session, to be honest. So I believe all of us, can benefit immediately from the knowledge and activities that you have shared. And thank you once again. Thank you also, dear participants and Facebook Live viewers, for allocating your Sunday evening to be with us today. So on behalf of our organizer, we would like to invite our audience to leave a few words or thoughts under the Facebook live stream for this event. So you may click on the link from the chat box at the bottom of your Zoom control panel. Not forgetting those watching us live, please also join us in the comment section. Your thoughts and views could be a very great inspiration to us. All right, so before we end today, allow me to share with you two things. So the first one is our upcoming talk on Swallow in a Storm, Developing Hope in Tempestuous Times, on the 28th of March, 2022, on a Monday at 3 to 4 p.m. Do please save the date and time. Also, for the second thing, I would like to share a video, a film actually. It's featuring His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, to share in an effort to share their wisdom on how to live with joy in troubled times. So just a very brief introduction about this film. It is actually a deeply moving and laugh out loud documentary with unprecedented access to the unlikely friendship of two international icons who transcends religion. His Holiness, again, the Dalai Lama, and Archbishop Tutu. In their final joint mission, these self-described mischievous brothers gave a masterclass in how to create joy in a world that was never easy for them. So they offer neuroscience-backed wisdom to help each of us live with more joy despite circumstances. And with genuine affection as well, mutual respect, and a healthy dose of teasing, these unlikely friends impart lessons gleaned from lived experience, ancient traditions, and the latest cutting-edge science regarding how to live with joy in the face of all life's challenges, from the extraordinary to the mundane. All right, so again, the film is called Mission Joy, and I guess that's an antidote for the times. Okay, so lastly, we would like to promote a little bit about our Utah Hospital, a non-profit hospital, and which will also be self-sustainable. So your valued support and generous contribution to this hospital project will greatly benefit medical and health science students and the community and the nation as a whole. So to support this Utah Hospital project, kindly click on the link below, or as you can see on the slides. And thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you all in our next talk.